You smell what the Rock is cooking.
Acknowledge me.
You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.
We are bad to the bone. Get it? Bad to the bone.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
I'll fight anybody who do you want. Just let me fight him.
Let me tell you something, Jim Ross.
Mega power, yeah.
We got it for you.
We are the best of the best.
Woo! Wheeling dealing.
Smart marks.
And that's the bottom line, cause Stone Cold said so.
Welcome to Talking in the Building, a pro wrestling podcast where we talk about the promo, we talk about the talkers, we hype the hype men, and we pontificate on the said promo. My name is Adalid. I'm out here on the West Coast. I almost said East Coast, and I want to join my homies out there in Atlanta. I'm out here in LA, joined as always by the homies Greg and Adrian out in Atlanta. How you doing, fellas? How's it feeling?
Doing good, man. Doing good. This World Cup has got the city on fire, so I'm actually watching a little bit of soccer.
Yes. Oh, right on. Yeah, man. Living it up. Growing up, we watched a lot of soccer, so the World Cup is definitely like religion in my family's household. So as it were. So shout out to all the teams out there that are making it a great World Cup, because it's been a hell of a one so far. But if this is your first time joining us, we are a pro wrestling podcast where we focus only on the promo. We love talkers, right? We love the storytelling behind it all. Yeah, give me your 5-star matches and your top rope jumps. No, I ain't interested in that. I'm interested in what you do on the mic here, right? So if you're into that kind of stuff, check out the back catalog, intothebuilding.com, where you're going to hear us talk about years worth of episodes. This is a time where we might focus on an era, on a wrestler. We might just focus on a particular, set of time even. So if you have any ideas, send them our way. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. But fellas, I want to dive into the conversation and something that, we're hitting a little bit of that after Mania kind of doldrums. We always hit it every year, but now we got other companies, right? We got your MLWs, we got your AEWs, aside from WWE, and everything in between, with New Japan still doing their thing, CMLL, AAA, obviously. Mm-hmm. One of the things that comes around this time of year, and especially a bit of a criticism from the fans, is, has wrestling, and especially around this time of year, become too predictable? And I'm going to use the most obvious example that everybody seems to complain about right now, which is the Bloodline, right? Oh, we're recycling characters, and it's the same thing, and they're going to do Cody 2.0, and we know how this story ends. I want to get into it because I want to hear from y'all. What do you think about this? What is becoming more of a common criticism of saying not just the Bloodline, but other pieces of storylines that, don't hold interest. And I know that, we've fell out of wrestling here for different reasons. Maybe we're not watching certain companies as much as we used to, and I'll leave it up to you guys. But what do you think about that idea that wrestling can become too predictable? Is that a function of possibly the creative, or is it because we're fans and we can kind of see things coming a lot of the time? Greg, I'm going to come to you first, because I think you have like a good sense of like, also not being so, maybe I'm showing my cards, not being so easily swayed by long-term storytelling.
I think it can get predictable, especially post-Mania. If you look at every year, you kind of get into the NHL Stanley Cup, you get into NBA Finals, you got all that stuff happening, and you've always had a creative lull. Mm-hmm. Mainstream, WWE-ish, and I'm not talking AEW, I'm talking WWE. Sure. AEW is going to be a little bit different because they're on a different time schedule because of where their big shows fall. Mm-hmm. But you always feel like that. I mean, go back to Kofi Mania. It would be very stale afterwards. And just like when Cody won, it became very stale for a few months. I feel like this Bloodline thing, I don't know where we're going. I'm not overly excited, but I'm curious to see where we go. I'm praying that it becomes bigger from the standpoint of some twists and turns we didn't see coming. I do like the fact that you kind of mentioned Cody being in it, but when you step back, I like the fact that they're integrating LA Knight. I like the fact that they're putting in some other stuff with Jacob. Jacob's different too. I like the interactions with Solo. So there's some pieces there. The interesting part of this, Roman's a straight heel, 100%. He's old Roman, and people are still going crazy for him. So I would love to see the behind the scenes conversation to go, okay, these fans ain't doing what we want them to do. Like, I'm just real curious about that. But beyond that, I do feel like there's a lot of stuff that's stale. But I think there's a lot of reasons for that. Part of it is, hey, we're testing out a lot of new people. Sol Ruka, Trick Williams, you got, Royce Keys is getting in there. I do like the fact that even though from a creative standpoint, a lot of people are going, oh my God, it's this, it's that. But we're use this time to build them, because in a month or so, when we really start that build to SummerSlam, let's see what they do with those characters.
Yeah.
Because like for me, Sami Zayn could go to AEW. Like, go. Like, I'll help you pack your bags. Get
You ain't
out.
wrong, dude. You ain't wrong.
And I'm like, I'm tired of him. But that's me. And there's not anything against his wrestling ability. I feel like he needs a fresh start.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bailey, same thing. Get her out off my TV. I think we have so much talent now. We can cycle people on and off. Whether they don't have to leave. I mean, Sammy can. But other than that, they don't have to go. But it's like cycle them off my TV for a little while. So I'm not as down on it as many others, because watching this cycle, even with Vince, watching that cycle, this is a normal lull.
Right.
Yeah. And kind of on that note, it gets me thinking, like, we're so used to things being tried out. Like you just mentioned, like Sol Ruka, which she's gotten a little backlash there, but it's like also you're putting like green people on like, national
Very
TV.
green.
Like,
she's only 4 years in the game.
Dude, and it's like, and that window seems like shorter and shorter to prove yourself. Like not to, I mean, this is not wrestling ability, but like not everybody can be a Danhausen that's like been there for 3 months, and like that's an anomaly. Like most people need that exposure. Javon has done amazing. I love that dude. But kind of, Adrian, on that note, going back to Greg's point about there is a low, but there are also people that are just kind of like, they're not even on main TV. Like you said, Bailey's at AAA right now. She's not even on. She's making appearances, but she's kind of skipping over there.
I think that's the luxury of what WWE has created, in the sense of that ecosystem of being able to have a working relationship with a AAA, possibly something in Japan, like we've seen Pro Wrestling Noah, they've dealt with, and there are rumors that they're trying to do something bigger. Like, I think that is a luxury that WWE does have. And you can argue that AEW has had it with their relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling, where if someone is getting a little stale, get a little long in the tooth, we can send them over there, let them work a little bit. And then when he gets back, because our fans like this person, or they just love the fact of getting a big return, they're going to embrace him immediately. But to talk about the predictability of pro wrestling, I think that's always been the case. And I don't think I'm so heavy into it's too predictable. It's too predictable. Sometimes it needs to be predictable just so a lot of us can stay engaged with it. Because, that's one of the issues with the M. Night Shyamalan film. It's always the twist. And sometimes it's like, why did you do this? Like, you just literally wasted 2 hours of my life with this ridiculous twist. Sometimes pro wrestling should throw a couple layups to the fans. It's about balance. It's about balance, really. And I do think a lot of it is predictable. But as long as we're throwing a couple twists and turns, and that's probably the reason why I'm not just completely crapping on the Bloodline aspect. I was hoping they wouldn't go back into it so soon.
Yeah.
But I get it. I understand. You also have Fatu in the mix now. You got Oba on the outside looking in. You got a lot of new players that you can come up with some compelling storylines. And the way that WWE has positioned Roman Reigns, he is the guy. So you can't just avoid having him at the top of the card because he is their guy. They've invested all of this time and effort and energy to say that this guy is essentially a pillar in the today's pro wrestling.
Sure.
So it would be silly of WWE not to have him on television. So, and if you have him on television, what makes Roman look the best? When he's surrounded with his family, when he's surrounded with the Usos, when he's surrounded with the potential of a Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson popping up. It's so, I mean, they have rumors of Zilla Fatu possibly signing with WWE.
Ooh.
Like, how can we ignore the bloodline? That's what I mean. It has become a staple. So I get why they do it, but I also understand why someone's like, oh my God, they're going back into this bag.
Right. And then you got to believe, I don't think they're playing this far ahead, but you got to believe, like, yo, man, like that, those top stars, like, none of them are below 40.
No.
Like, in 10 years, like, they're either done or they're slowing down significantly.
Right. Yep.
But that's a good point. But the one thing about that, and let's think about, like, let's just use Jacob. Jacob walked in and immediately was like, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been in the business. It's old school.
That's
by
it.
the time you get to the mainstream, NWA, WCW, even WWE, you've been in the business 15 years.
Yeah.
You didn't see guys coming in there after 2 years. Rarely. Like you just talked about Sol Ruca, you touched on that. 4 years and boom, on the main roster. Vince wasn't touching none of those guys. When he started with Jake and Duggan and Hogan and all those guys, they've been around for years. And they came in there and they were like, oh, yeah. And you hear them if you go listen to their podcast. Oh, it took me 10 years to figure out what I was doing.
Yep.
And then Jericho had been in, close to 10 years or something. He said, I got here and had no clue what was happening.
Right.
AJ said the same freaking thing.
Yep.
AJ in the past has said he should have gone to NXT first because it was so much going on. He said he basically had to fake it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like acting like he knew what was happening. So that's the one luxury of having the bloodline is because they grew up in it. But I also think there's a necessity to it. There's an experiment, like you got Jimmy and Jay. Jay didn't work as a single star, in my opinion. Once you put him at the top, he crumbled in the way I looked at it.
Yep.
I mean, they gave him that belt, even that build-up. You could just see in his face, it wasn't there. And I think now they're looking for that heir apparent. And is it a Solo? Is it Jacob? I don't know. Is it a Zilla? I don't know. But it's going to be interesting twists and turns that can happen there. But that does intrigue me to see where we go with it.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a couple generations left to figure that out. So
we got a lot. Well, Jacob has like 15 kids, so Jacob got a whole mess of folks.
Oh, that's a real bloodline.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, and it's interesting you mentioned that because we've had this conversation. Call it a combination of just more. There's more competition. There's more hours of TV to fill in some aspects, right? But also, like, they got a full machine, right? They got their machine going where they can bring someone to NXT and just mold them to whoever they want. I mean, they always did, but I think it's so much more intentional now. Where I always hear people, like, again, biased because LA and PWG and everything being around here, but it's like, oh, when are they gonna do something, or when someone gonna pick up the mantle of PWG? It's like, that's gone. That's so over. For all the reasons you said, Greg, which is like, who's gonna go craft, build up their craft over like 6-7 years when they're like, hey, 2 years, you look pretty good, come sign a developmental deal with us. And it's like, and there's no guarantees, but there's a promise, obviously, you're going to be on TV. And the more we go forward, the more, everybody that's wrestling now is a fan, unless you were recruited from some kind of sports angle, like they're tending to do, they're all still fans. So they're going to take a cut and earn less ultimately. But anyway, well, we're gonna kind of drudge through the summer. I know there's a lot going on outside of WWE, and it's interesting to see like everybody's still developing and putting on really good shows, and as has been the case. So speaking on new talent, and maybe someone that maybe was not on your radar, but if you haven't heard of her, I want to bring today a promo of someone that kind of did hone their craft elsewhere and finally signed with AEW. I know there was a little bit of a war going on for her contract, and this is Thekla. If you hadn't heard of Thekla, real unique look, kind of a jack of all trades. Has been lead singer of a band, is an artist, like a legit artist, like gallery showings, but then is just a really good pro wrestler. So we can take a look at this promo from Thekla from AEW promoting this upcoming Forbidden Door pay-per-view.
I'm the AEW Women's World Champion, on top of the world, the biggest attraction in this business. That's right. And when I spat on that Stardom logo last week, I did you a favor. That was the best thing that ever happened to you, because everybody's talking about Stardom, and it's because of me.
Do they believe her?
My saliva is worth more than anything you have in that Stardom locker room. That's right. That's right, and guess what? I know that whole Stardom locker room is trying to get a piece of me now. I saw your little tweets, but guess what? Why don't you send me your best girl? And at Forbidden Door, I'm gonna give them a shot at this. Oh, and one more thing. Taro Okada, Mr. President of Stardom, otsukaresama desu. Let me buy you a first-class ticket, a nice little flight here as well, so you can sit front row and you can see with your own eyes the monster you created. Because I am the most toxic woman alive. The biggest mistake you ever made.
Right, that's Thekla in a live promo. Up until then, I'd only seen recorded promos. But Adrian, I'm gonna come to you because you reacted. Audience didn't react.
They
maybe
didn't react. That's what stood out to me, man. I like Thekla. I mean, she's awesome in ring. Her character, like you can see why AEW has positioned her in that in the spot that she's in, especially with Tony being out of action right now. But that statement, it kind of sucks in the sense that she makes a statement that everyone's talking about Stardom when nobody's talking about Stardom. And it only sucks because the crowd, you kind of question, like, at this point, how long has the crowd been there? Because normally, and that's me shooting bail. That's me completely shooting bail because we've all been to these shows, whether it's WWE, AEW. Once we get into that third hour, we're kind of like, and we're not really as engaged as you would like. So, and we have heard Tony does like to use that third hour of Dynamite to tape his Collision shows and segments. So I want to shoot her bail in the sense that her call and response didn't work, maybe more so due to audience fatigue versus her. But honestly, online, I'm not seeing as many people talking about Stardom. I'm just going to be honest,
No, and they did announce who she's facing, Starlight Kid, who's kind of been, stalwart over there. But you're right, I didn't even think about it from that angle. About this is probably like the third or fourth hour that people have been there. But yeah, I mean, I couldn't tell you a lot about the Stardom roster right now. Not too much. So I can't even imagine even the hardcores unless you watch it weekly. it's going to be a tough sell.
Some will try to convince you that they're locked in like that. You know, believe a lot of the homies on the internet, but you know, I don't know. I don't know many of the homies watching Stardom consistently.
I only know one person that does because he has a subscription, but that's a little different. But that's the only one I can verify. Greg, did you have kind of like similar reactions, or you know, I guess she's trying to build this up, but you know, it didn't feel completely flat, but you know.
I mean, it started out rough to me. I mean, the moment she started talking, I'm like, this is why WWE has NXT. The first 30 seconds of that promo was, this is why WWE has NXT. But what irritates me, and this is not just, it's not isolated to her, it's not isolated to AEW. AEW does it more often. But it's not just them, it's others. Most people watching you don't know what Stardom is.
Yes.
If you only come out and you take Stardom and you just down them, you just made them lesser than. So if they're going to be involved in Forbidden Door, you're raising them. And if you can raise them, you raise you. So if I can say Stardom is the number one all women's promotion, or whatever I want to say about them, and put over their talent and say, you have that talent, but I've run through that, or I've been there before. And no, I have now elevated myself to the greatest women's division in the world. And kind of, you do it in a way to where you still raise up Stardom. You think you can hang with us? I want to see you at Forbidden Door. That kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
You can still be a heel and go after them, but you didn't. So now the people who don't know what Stardom is are like, okay, you spit on some random logo. Like I could have created that, right? And then the whole spit thing and then wiping it on Tony, that doesn't make sense to me. It's just cheap to me. Because in all honesty, that I think that Tony should have been doing the interview. And that would have helped with the crowd situation, because if you have a stick person, you don't have to rely on that crowd to react. If the crowd doesn't react, that stick person can keep it going.
Yeah.
At this point, she's expecting a reaction, and it's not. And I'm like, if you look, you can see people in the upper deck, right? And there's no reaction in the beginning.
Yeah.
She got it a little bit at the end, but I just feel like, to your point, Adrian, it could be some fatigue. But I think you have to educate. And you have to know that everybody is not a hardcore. Even though you have more hardcores than the AEW show, they all, to y'all's point, don't even know what Stardom is. Definitely don't watch it.
Well, that's Collision. So if you're watching Collision, you are a sicko. You are a confirmed sicko if you're watching Collision on Saturday. Man.
Fair, but but I mean, at the same time, it's just like AEW does have more hardcores, but they're not. You still got to put over a lesser promotion.
That's fair.
If it was TNA, you would have to put them over.
Yeah.
You wouldn't come in there and just say, this is TNA champion, just assume everybody knows who it is. You don't do that. MLW, same way. And that's not a knock on TNA or MLW.
It's just reality.
Should build up your opponent. And you can still crack them down, right? But you still need to tell people if they don't know who they are. Because if you just totally blast them, then I'm like, well, why do I want to watch this?
I honestly think that they're kind of hustling backwards, to just put it frank. Like you said, the promos that we're kind of looking for is that you're trying to sell this match. You're trying to sell the potential of me facing this person, this worthy opponent, so that I can ultimately show y'all I'm the best wrestler alive, that sort of thing. Although I understand why she went in that direction, because if you do watch her character, especially in terms of her relationship with Stardom, it's a very frayed relationship. Like, it's 100% disrespectful. It's no reason that I should be complimenting you because you fired me and I have this issue. And that's the reason why I'm saying it's hustling backwards, because I'm more than confident once that match happens, it's going to be one of those like mind-blowing type things where the story for that match is going to be, wow, Stardom has some really good wrestlers. And this wrestler that's facing this champ is an ultimate opponent and a worthy opponent. So that's the reason why I'm saying it's hustling backwards. It's not selling the match, but once you're already watching the match, you're like, oh, okay. And you're hustling backwards. So I don't
There
know.
are ways to build somebody without saying, "Oh, they're a great wrestler."
Yeah.
Tap into that. I was so good that they had to fire me.
Yeah.
I was so good. Bring whoever you want to, and I'm going to knock them down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think you're on our level with AEW? And there's a way to do it without saying, "Oh, they're great." I mean, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Right.
it's
Right.
a way to. She didn't even mention really any names. So
Yeah.
if she did, I don't
And
remember who she said. So it's just kind of like you didn't. To me, you didn't sell me on anything.
I feel that. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll say two things. You picked up on something about her not being interviewed, which I think she shined in those backstage segments. Honestly, like those vignettes, like with her and with was it Anna Jay and Sky Blue, even though they're just basically just kind of there. Those have been awesome because she's like they get the lining, it's edited down, right? So obviously very coached. One reason I can see why they chose
Julia
it,
Hart,
which-
by the way.
Julia Hart. There we go.
Yeah,
I was going to say Sky Blue.
It's all good.
You notice how they're doing these smaller venues that have this unique architecture. They're always trying to get the crowd in on these promos, and that's the only reason I think they like. Well, let's just do it. There's the crowd is like right in the corner and stuff. But you're right. There was no one to kind of lead her to like hell tell us about why you hate Stardom, Lyles. Why just give us that backstory. I know the other thing that they've been, and I don't know, this is why the wrestler wasn't there. Maybe it's too early. They've been dealing with a lot of visa issues, so I wonder like how much they can even get that kind of talent into town and whatnot.
That's fair.
Because I would love to see her, even if she doesn't say anything, right? How many times do like non-English speaking pro wrestlers come in and they just like, drop kick you and then it's off to the races? It's like it's just something. It doesn't have to be that complicated, especially for a one-off pay-per-view. Really, I don't think there's not going to be any storylines beyond this.
Right.
So, it'd be curious to see where they go because I don't know. I'm usually Forbidden Door meant so much several years ago, and now it's just another.
It's kind of
feels like it's just
out.
another co-promotion show. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I think the cool thing if Tony did this, because it has become, I don't mean a throwaway pay-per-view, but it did mean more before. Right? You just had with the other relationships. You could have a feud with this, but because this is unique, you have a nice women's roster at AEW.
Yeah,
let them feud with Stardom as a group. Like have them you could do stuff that elevates them, elevates your guys at the same time, but also gives all your women something to do. Because one of my criticisms is they have depth, but they just don't know what to do with them. Except they just go create a belt. And it's like WWE does it too, so I'm not just being critical of AEW.
Yeah, that's the problem with all pro wrestling.
Throw a belt over there, and it's like it. But I think this would give them something else to do and something unique, and it'd be different having an invasion or an interpromotional war with just the girls.
Yeah, that'd be
we
definitely
have not seen
different.
I will say, at least on a positive note, because we do have to throw some positives with this promo. I am somewhat intrigued with what's going to be the payoff when it comes to Stardom's boss and Thekla. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mentioned him. Yeah, you're right.
Like he's mentioned, he's been shown in promo packages, shown where they've had their incidents. They've shown where he fired her and all of this. Like, what is ultimately the payoff? What is the payoff? That's why I'm intrigued. It's for better or for worse. I am at least intrigued with that. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. But I think just going back to the storytelling aspect, that I believe AEW has to do more so than WWE is because they want those casual fans to tune in.
Yeah.
You almost within your promos. This is a skill. This is hard. You have to almost recap what happened before. Because that's my first time seeing that. Like I haven't seen the other Stardom stuff. I've been kind of out of touch post Mania. I had a lot going on, and that's across multiple promotions. I'm kind of catching social media snips and all that. So I didn't know about the the firing and all that kind of stuff. That they're intertwining that. That's where she said what you missed out on. It would be great if she had said, "Oh, you fired me. This is what you missed out on." So now there's that little piece. You know what I mean? That kind of keeps that thread going. Going back to the positives, I liked the way I actually liked how she did it on the table. As far as it was different, it wasn't your normal just stand there and talk, or even the way she bent down, the way she did different things. She played into her sexuality,
her mannerisms. Yeah, her mannerisms.
But at the same time, that you see so much there. There's charisma, there's an air about her, all of that. That's there. The beginning of the promo, no reaction, but the end there was reaction. So she was winning people over, and there were people getting into it. Or at least it sounded like it. So, to her credit, great job because she didn't get totally shaken.
Yeah, I mean she's got it all. She's the goods, and I mean as long as she wants to do this, she'll have a spot somewhere, right? Whether it's here or this contract, and she goes to WWE. Like she just has a good look, good English command. I mean, it is what it is, and watch her come out like playing her own theme song one day or something as a some big pick.
We still haven't gotten her and Monet facing off. Like it's a lot of potential matchups, and who knows what's going to happen at All In. I know. Bringing it back to our initial conversation about predictability, I've been seeing a lot of AEW fans criticizing how predictable the main event of Will Ospreay, that sort of thing happening. But on the other end, like we don't really know what's going to ultimately happen with the women's end. And those are some talented wrestlers. So the potential is there for sure.
They got a moment to pivot, I think. It's like I think back also to your point about Stardom. Like I know when they started AEW, that was Kenny Omega's project. He's like he wanted to bring in more women. Then obviously pandemic hit, and that just threw it by the wayside. So I'm curious of like maybe is that still a plan to portray them in a certain way and in a certain light now that their things are hitting out all cylinders. But yeah, I didn't think about Mercedes Moné at all. You're right. She's just like, what are the next feuds? And then Willow will come back from injury at some point, and she was just kind of picking up steam there. So I don't know. I'm excited for like just kind of the whole wrestling landscape right now. I mean, I may not show it because I'm not keeping up with it as much as I probably would in the past. But I mean, for anybody that's like just out of sorts or out of love for a little bit for wrestling, just give it another shot, man. I mean, that's the thing with pro wrestling. You can dip in and out, and you're gonna pick up something at some point. You're gonna find something you like. And I think we're so spoiled nowadays. I always say that, but it's true.
Yeah, that's definitely the issue. We're spoiled. We're spoiled, man.
Beyond spoiled. But the beautiful thing is being spoiled. One, we have so many promotions that are good. We have so many things that are going on that are good. We've been spoiled over the past several years with great storylines in both companies. I'd say both the two top. Great storylines in TNA that it's not sustainable, y'all. I mean, at some point, every great series, I don't care what it is, goes through a lull. Every single one, whether it's Game of Thrones or Sopranos or any of the greatest ones of all time, they go through that lull. And but the cool thing that we have a luxury on now is TikTok, Instagram, and all that.
Yes,
we can catch those pieces. I like watching people's reactions because that helps me. I mean, sometimes because I can't keep up with everything, I just can't. And I love watching some of the people's reactions, but some of these promos and stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, I need to go back and watch that. But it's nice to have that now because we didn't have that back in the day. It was flipped between TNT and the USA.
Or if you're fortunate to have the VCR, you're recording one of the shows and catching it on the back end. So are we putting Dusties on this?
We can put a couple of Dusties, absolutely. Cool. If you're not familiar, we do our Dusty rating. We rate a promo 1 to 5 Dusties, and really, named after the late great Dusty Rhodes. And it's just our way of just judging the promo on its own merits, on what we see. Right. Sometimes these promos, we don't know the wrestlers, we don't know the context. We're just basing it on what the words that are coming out of their mouth, as Chris Tucker would say. Adrian, I'm going to come to you. 1 to 5 Dusties. What do you give this Thekla promo?
Okay, I'm gonna have to give it 2 Dusties. Off the merit of I do like her. I like her mannerisms. Like we all pointed out, her standing on the desk was something different, unique. But in terms of the ultimate goal of the promo is to sell us on a match, I wasn't particularly sold on the match. And even worse, the crowd didn't really help too much in pushing it over the top for me to be even more excited. So for that reason, I gotta be honest and give it two Dusties.
Yep. Very fair. I got 2 Dusties from Adrian. Greg, how you feeling about this one?
So, normally I'm much lower than y'all. So, in this case, I was leaning about 2.75-ish in that area. And here's why. She didn't talk me in the building for the match. She did talk me into the building for her.
Okay.
And because and I'm not as familiar with her as y'all, right? And I am, but I'm not. I haven't been as in, especially even in this AEW run, I haven't. But by the end of that promo, it made me want to see more from her. I saw that potential. It was almost like I watched a storyline of her go from shaky to confident. And again, I agree with Adrian 100%. Match-wise, I could care less, whatever. But there was something about the way she carried herself during that promo, the way she engaged with the camera, and all of that. There was a mystique to her that did talk me into the building to see her again.
You said she's in a band?
She has like a band like back in the day, and that she did she had like a art opening with who's the cat? He's a wrestler too. He also like does paint. Anyway, she's just like an art gallery. But yeah, I'm kind of right in line with Greg. I was middling between a 2.5. I'll give her the half only because she passes my wife's test. This is not the no audio strip club test that Adrian does, but it may as well be that, because she only stops nowadays for Rhea. She'll be like, "Oh, Rhea's on." Like she might not be. She'll be reading her book or something, and then but she came on. Is like, "Oh, who's that?" She kind of flipped. I'm like, "Oh, then she's hitting on something, right?" Because
sure.
like it's just the eyeball test passes there, right? And she has a unique look. But for me, again, similar things. Maybe not, didn't quite talk me into the building. I'm probably going to watch the people review anyway, but I wish I'd known more about kind of like the feud and who this other wrestler was. But on look alone and on like kind of believability, I think even with the hiccups there that, were not her strongest promo to date, it makes me want to see what's next, right? Because I do, as much as I say this is detached, I do know what she's capable of. So,
definitely.
This is probably just a bad reaction. Maybe like you said, a tired crowd, and who knows what other X factors. But
that may have been the reason why she stood on the desk also, because that gets people excited. Once you see, we're all conditioned to think that the promo is going to be in the ring or at the top of the ramp. But once somebody's walking down the ramp and stands on the desk, you should be paying attention. Like, what the hell is she about to do? So I don't know. Now I'm gonna chalk it up to it being that 3rd or 4th hour, and even sickos get tired. So I'm gonna chalk it up to that, man.
And I think, to your point, I think part of it falls on production. One of the things we see, if you go behind the scenes in the WWE, and I'm sure that happens in AEW with MJF and others, a lot of times they'll come out and then they go to commercial. During that commercial, they'll get that crowd hyped.
Yep.
And so when they come back, the crowd may be energized. And I don't know where this fell. I don't know if there was a commercial break or whatever before. But even if it's, there's a way that you can get them up a little bit.
Yeah.
And so there's some of that. But the one thing you sorry to jump in again, but one thing that I'll say, because I know we catch a lot of heat for AEW hate. The one thing about AEW pay-per-views, not PLEs for them, it's pay-per-views, because we got to pay a shit ton of money. But the one thing about them, rarely do they not deliver.
Yeah, for sure.
So to me, it's you don't even have to be invested in the storylines to enjoy that pay-per-view. It's like New Japan for me in the back in the day.
Yeah.
I could just turn on New Japan, Wrestle Kingdom, don't have a clue outside of the main event what else is going to happen on this card, and be like, thoroughly enjoy the whole thing. Same thing with AEW.
Yeah.
You cannot deny their wrestlers, their match qualities. They may be sometimes lacking in storyline as far as that match quality, but it's entertaining from top to bottom. So that's one luxury they have, and I think that she will do a great job, and hopefully she'll win over a lot of more people in the ring during that pay-per-view.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Be awesome. So, well said, Greg. I mean, again, we're so spoiled because we can just look anywhere, and this is another example of that. So if you enjoyed that promo, if you have thoughts on that promo, if you want to recommend me a different Thekla promo that maybe does a better job of capturing her essence or who she is, let us know in the comments. Tell us, what are your thoughts on that earlier conversation? Is pro wrestling too predictable? What makes it unpredictable to you, right? What gets you going, right? We all have those hooks that we like in pro wrestling too. It's going to do it for us for this conversation and this Dusty rating and Dusty promo. As always, joined by the homies here. Catch us intothebuilding.com and check out the back catalog. Check out the upcoming episodes. We're dropping episodes all the time. And let us know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. But until next time, from Greg, from Adrian, this is Ali. See y'all later. Peace.